G'day all, it's Dutchys Garage here. Just post on the Mini or an update on what I'm planning to do to put it back together. Haven't done anything yet for some time, so life got in the way, an injury to the Achilles tendon, so I snapped that, so I've been on crutches and a boot. So I'm just showing you what the update is on the Mini. So I need to put this radiator back together and the hose back on. One of my previous posts, or the first post when I first did it, showed the clamp or this part here had broken off. The clamp was still attached, but this had snapped off just here. And a lot of comments around plastic radiators or the OEM radiator, the type of clamp I'm using. So look, I've taken some of it on board and I've ignored some of the other comments. So I've gone back and I've got myself another OEM radiator. As much as everyone says, why don't you go an alloy radiator? I don't need an alloy radiator. The car was cooling perfectly when I was driving it, so it wasn't a cooling issue, so I don't need a bigger radiator or an alloy one. I also don't have a massive amount of clearance there between the radiator and the fuel tank, and yet I've still got to put back in the shroud that deflects the air back up into the bonnet vent. So don't really have a lot of room, so I can't afford to put a wider, thicker radiator in either. So given OEM radiator not being an issue prior to this, it was probably 15 years old, so I'm really not fussed about putting another one back in. So one couple of things to note. When I get down low here, you can sort of see that when this hose goes on, you can see the angle that the hose is on. I think what's also was contributing is it might have been pulling on a downward angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this clamp here. There's a bit of movement in this rubber hose, so the silicone hose. I'll be able to pull that up a little bit higher just to get that to be more level with the radiator. So that'll help reduce some of the pulling down on that plastic piece just here. And also I am going to do a different clamp than I did previously. So originally I just had these normal worm drive clamps, which everyone hated and said, why are you doing it? You should have some sort of constant tension clamp. So I went and bought what was called a constant tension clamp, and then realized that wasn't the right one. So it does have an inner lining to stop the hose from pinching or whatever, but it doesn't actually have the ability to expand or contract. So I then reverted to a new clamp, which these ones are the Turbo Smart ones. And these are a real proper constant tension clamp. So they have like a, I don't know, like a gated zip, I don't know, what do you call that? Whatever it is. Anyway, what that allows it to do is expand and contract, yeah? So I'll put that on the hose, I'll tighten it up to the relevant spec, and as the plastic expands in the heat, it'll allow some expansion with this corrugated section here. So that should help reduce the issues that I had previously. Again, it was 5 years old when I put it in. I think the radiator was 15 years old. So, you know, I think aging is just a big part of it. It is what it is. Like I said, the car was cooling as it needed to cool, and I think it'll be fine. So, okay, so the hoses are back on, clamps on, deflectors back on. So you can see the constant tension clamp there. So it just allows for expansion when that plastic does expand in the heat. I've also adjusted, as you can see, that hose so it's more parallel with the inlet of the radiator just by adjusting this clamp down here and lifting up. I had a bit of room there to slide it up, so that should work okay. Just wanted to show you with the deflector in here how tight it is down there. So there's wiring and there's fans, and it's pretty close to that deflector. So that's one of the main reasons why I didn't go for an aluminium radiator as much as I'd like to. I just didn't have the room for it. And to be honest, the car was cooling perfectly, as I said a bit earlier. So no need to change something that was working fine. It was just age. So that's it for now. I'll fill it up with coolant, bleed the system, start it back up and get up and running. Till then, cheers.